Does everybody love the ocean? The feeling of an everlasting scene with no end? Or do you fear it? You should fear it. It's a place where the unimaginable can happen in a blink of an eye. One moment you're above water having a good time, and all of a sudden you can be underwater struggling to grasp at least one single breath. When I was 14 years old, I was in a beach called Chachalacas in Veracruz, in a beautiful state of Mexico, which is located in the Gulf of Mexico. I was playing on the shore as much as I could, but as a young buck, I wanted more. I was sitting on the sand thinking on what should I do next. That's when my eagle eyes caught a glimpse of a pier of rocks out about 100 meters off the shore. Now, before I go on, I want to mention that this particular beach shifts the seafloor constantly near the shore. So if you go out 15 meters out into the ocean, it could be 3 to 4 feet deep. And if you walk 5 more meters, it can get as deep as 7 feet or even more. So 50 meters can get very deep or not. You never know with these kinds of beaches. So I quickly had the urge to go to the pier because it looked so movie-like, and even better, I was out in the open ocean. So I informed my parents to look out for me as I was swimming across the obstacles of heavy waves that were throwing me back and forth. So I carried on, and I finally made it into my destination. And as soon as I put my foot in one of the rocks, I slipped and I got grossed out because of all the seaweed that covered my leg. So at the same time I was getting grossed out, a sudden feeling of fear came upon me, and my instincts kicked in. And so I set out to shore again, or so I thought. That's what I said in my mind. As I was swimming back, I didn't look up to see if I was swimming towards the right direction. As a swimmer, you rarely look up, because if you do, you lose your rhythm of the balance movements you have, and you lose speed because of that. So I was swimming back, and to my horror, I realized that I wasn't swimming towards the shore. All this time, I was swimming parallel to the shore, and to my horror, I was in dismay, and my arms were about to give out, and shortly my legs were about to give out as well. So feeling so desperate and powerless at that moment, I was shouting for my mother several times while I was yelling, "Mom, Mom!" My mother thought I was just joking around since I am a good swimmer. So I turned to my father and I yelled out, "Dad!" But he thought I was joking around as well. So I turned to my sisters, but I came up with the same result. So I'm not that far away. That's what I thought. I'm about 100 meters off the shore, and that's when I thought maybe I should just go dive in and do a big jump, and so I could grasp a good amount of oxygen. But as I mentioned earlier, that seafloor shifts so dramatically and instantly, so fast with the waves. So as I was going down, I found no seafloor. I literally was going deeper and deeper, and no seafloor was to be found. So I quickly went up. I was trying to go up as fast as I could above water just to grasp a little bit of air. So I did eventually get up again, and I did eventually get up. And after that, I just had very short breaths because I was starting to inhale water. So after that, I remembered that if you do the backstroke, you can lay there and rest a little. So that's what I did. But because it was windy, it wasn't a usual day. It was super windy. So the waves were pretty strong, and I inhaled water again. So I was already fading away. I was passing out of tiredness. That's when I said, well, before I die, I want to make a prayer. So I was praying moments of my most important moments in life passed and flashed through my mind, and some stayed longer than others. So as soon as I finished my prayer and said amen, I let myself go. My vision was already fading away, and I couldn't even feel a single thing anymore. As I started to drift away, I felt a hand pull me out of the water. It was my father, and right next to it was my neighbor. So they pulled me out of the water, and took me to the shore. So I gave about 4 steps, and as soon as I gave 4 steps, I fell to the ground, passed out. A couple minutes passed later, got up and hugged my parents. And so for a couple of years, I was actually very, very afraid of the ocean. Thank God I overcame that, and I love the ocean now. So going back to my question. So, are you afraid of the ocean? You should fear it. But don't let that fear interrupt you from an everlasting experience. A wonderful view that with no end that an eye can meet. Thank you. And don't underestimate the ocean.